Ishwarama's resplendent sun. It's the start of a bright new day. Time to rise, time to shine, Lord divine. Time to lead us along life's way. Awake, Lord of Buddha party. Awake, O Lord, over all mankind. Awake, O Lord of compassion, that the world good fortune may find.
My own life, so but I try. Thank you very much. At his 65th birthday, Baba gave wonderful discourses, and one of them he said something that struck me so deeply. He said, gratitude should be the life breath of man, that without gratitude we cannot gain divine vision, and that human life is precious and sacred, and we should treasure it. And so I want to express my gratitude to all of you here in Eastern Canada. I think it's such a marvelous retreat. Everyone is so loving and giving, and hundreds of hours I know have gone into it, and I appreciate the sweetness with which you offer yourselves. So thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me to say a few words, which is not easy. And because how do you put into words something that is beyond words, that is a feeling? And also thank you to our dearest, sweet, precious, loving, giving Sai Baba, because he really shows us how to give and how to love, and he offers himself to us so completely. Sometimes I feel like an evangelical preacher when I'm talking about Baba. I find myself wanting to scream and say, he loves us, God loves us. You have to believe that. He's there for all of us, and you don't have to be sad, and you don't have to feel lonely, you don't have to feel that you're lost and that the world is so dark and it's so meaningless, because this is the way I used to feel 21 years ago. But then I have to contain myself and know that everybody has to take this path at their own tempo, as I had to, very slowly. I was a slow learner. So it's taken me many years. Sam went to India, and can you imagine my reaction 21 years ago when he said, I'm going off to India for a month. What? To India? You're leaving me with the 4 girls? And it was very frightening and threatening. He came back transformed. He looked different. He wasn't smeared with ashes and wearing rags, as I was worried, but he was changed. He changed his diet. He became a vegetarian instantaneously from being a meat-loving man. You're not eating my meat. You're rejecting it. You're rejecting me. It gripped my heart. This was the first shock. Well, I struggled with that for maybe 2 months, and then Baba took care of it. He just stripped away something that was blocking my vision, and I suddenly realized that I was eating flesh. I had never thought about it. It never even dawned on me, occurred to me. And at that moment, I just had to reject meat. I couldn't stomach it, except maybe the lobster tails. They were the last, the last things I gave up when I finally said, that's it, I can't do it. So that was number 1. Number 2, the pictures. The pictures. Sam doesn't like little ones. He likes them big. So the pictures went up, and we had meetings because he decided to establish the center immediately. Well, this assaulted me because I was always suspicious of spiritual people. They looked so holy and beatific, and they didn't look real. And I like people to be honest and real. I can't stand when people are phony and they're, playing a role. So I was very suspicious, but Sam was extremely wise. And he took me by the hair practically and dragged me off to India within a few months, leaving our 4 beautiful children for 2 weeks. And he said, you have to see this for yourself. And he didn't pontificate, he didn't lecture, he just took me over there. And it was a very powerful experience. Two parts of the trip stand out in my mind, 2 moments. One was a large interview that we had with Baba, and when he allowed people to ask many questions. And I was very shy about speaking out, but I said, Baba, what about death? Because this was an obsession. It wasn't an obsession because it didn't control my life, but I worried about it. I couldn't bear the thought of my mortality. I couldn't bear the thought of that I would die, that the ones I loved would die, that it was that maybe this world was really meaningless and there was no design, no sense to it. It was just a cold, indifferent place. So I asked Baba, and he said, oh, so sweetly, you don't die. You shed your body like you shed an article of clothing. Don't be afraid. You are eternal. You're infinite. And it was very sweet and interesting. I had probably read it in comparative religion class, but hearing it from him, it had a different impact. So I had something to think about. And the second touching moment was when we had our smaller interview. We had gone with my sister, who is married, and my brother-in-law, who is Sam's brother. We're sisters married to brothers. And I don't know why they went. In retrospect, I can't imagine how they even went, because they're very mental, rational people. And so they went. And in the interview, Baba was very sweet. He walked over to Don, Sam's brother, waved his hand, and out came this magnificent ring, and he gave it to Don. Well, we all gasped, and I burst into tears. Everyone was thinking, oh, she's touched, she's so moved. I was so angry and I was so hurt. How could you do this, Baba? Sam's a devotee. How could you give this to his brother? I probably was a little jealous, too. It should have been for Sam, not for Don. He doesn't care about you. In fact, this jealousy comes up. Once Baba took a ring of Sam's, blew on it and changed it into a diamond. Then he looked over at me mischievously and said, little jealous? I said, no, Baba. He said, oh. I said, no, I'm so happy. He said, oh, happy jealousy. But at any rate, Baba immediately, when I burst into tears, he came over to me, he waved his hand, and it just filled up with this greasy mound of candy. And he said, sweets for the children. It touched me very deeply because I knew that he knew my feeling. He knew the pain and all the confusion and sadness that I was feeling. And so I was able to take something that was my first experience. And as I think about it, I think this is what God does. When we're in pain, when we're hurting, when we're really struggling, he gives us a little sweet just to ease it for us. And he's always there, and he always does it. In my life, I see it so many times, and it's really difficult. And I say, oh my God, this is overwhelming almost. Then there's a little gift. He comes to us in the form of a friend, in the form of a beautiful occurrence, that beautiful synchronicity. When events happen, you just know that he's there saying, I'm here, just take hold of my hand, don't let go of it. Well, at any rate, we returned from India, and then the hard part began, really. Because, as I said, it was a struggle for me. I had a lot of questions and doubts, and I'm Jewish, and how can I love Baba, and we're not supposed to worship a divinity in a form, and then the pictures. And then how do you look normal to people when your pictures are all over, when your chanting is coming out of the windows of your home, and people are coming in and out, and the piano teacher's coming for 7 years teaching, sitting in front of this beautiful picture of Baba, never asking once, who is that guy? So it was, on one hand, I had to integrate it into what almost looked like a normal life. And for our children, too, they learn quickly that you can't really talk about this to people because they don't understand. One daughter confided in a friend, about Baba, the miracles. We never saw that girl again. She never came over. Another friend, strong Catholic friend of our twins, loved the girls. She never asked about Baba, never asked about the trips. It was an unspoken part of our lives, but that we accept that. But Baba gave us so much grace. He came into our home, he gave us courage, he gives us the most beautiful message of all that you can tell your children. You're not only this human body. You are divine. I always kid the kids when they're feeling down. Atma Swarupa. I joke about it, you know. Sparks of divinity. Don't forget who you are. Don't have to be affected by people, you know, when they're not being kind. And it was a little difficult because they became vegetarians. They said, no way, you're not eating meat, we're not eating meat, within about 2 years. So all of us, you know, have had that harmony. So they were very receptive, and we have had the joy of taking them to Baba and sitting with him and watching him play, watching him to be like one of the girls. When he's with them, he teases and talks and preparing them for marriage. We don't want to get married, Baba. It's your duty. Very sweetly. And then talking about the family, unity and diversity. You go out into the world, you return. You know, this gesture. So he's so sweet and playful with them, joking and laughing, and serious also, asking about their education and supporting and encouraging. Wonderful support, wonderful to have him right there in the family. But I must, as I said, I had those struggles. I think I was straddling. One hand was holding on to him for dear life because it's probably true, and I didn't want to let go, and he says that, don't let go, hold fast, and he will carry us through life. We just have to have the faith and the trust. But the other hand was kind of wobbly, questioning and doubting, and not willing to commit 100%, you know, still having those questions. Well, then we took the kids for the 60th birthday, and oh my God. Well, you know what it's like to have a birthday party for 10 or 20 or maybe 100 guests. This was 750,000 people descending upon a small area, and it was very crowded. I don't suffer quietly. Poor Sam. He had to deal with 5 women in one apartment with 1 bathroom. So we took our daughters, and they were great. They loved it. And Baba was a tiny speck. I have to say one other thing, that Baba has given little gifts along the way. One gift to me was that I share his birthday, which also I felt was a handicap for many years, because, oh my God, it's me, it's my birthday. It's not, I mean, I love you, Baba, but it's my birthday too. I think that was my feeling for the 60th birthday, and it was so overwhelming, and the water was shut off often, even though he was simply glorious, magnificent. And to see so many wonderful people, and to see the Seva workers who give so tirelessly, continuously, all day long, giving and serving as Baba does. He shows us how, and then they reflect it, and then hopefully we carry it home with us, and we, you know, expand it into our lives. But anyways, after the 60th, I said, this is too much. I just said, I'll love Baba in my heart. I'll have some few dreams. I'll talk to him, because I'm sorry, I'm one of those people who can't meditate yet. I think I need an intensive class with faith to learn, but that's been one area of my life that just hasn't materialized yet. But at any rate, I said, no, I'm not going anymore. I think I'll for a while. And then within about 5 months, Sam had to make a trip back, and I had to shift in thinking, I'm going. And I said, this time I'm going to stop complaining so much. Maybe instead of 3 temper tantrums, I'll have 1. And I'll bear it, grin and bear it. And so, because it is difficult, but it's also wonderful. But you have to be prepared for the difficult part. And especially during a birthday when there's so many crowds and the water shut off and it's very hot. So we went in the summer, which is about in May, beginning of May, and was it hot? And the water was shut off, but it was the best trip, because first we came in, there were very few people, and immediately Baba came by for darshan, and he is really lovely when he comes out for darshan, and he stood in front of me. He said, how are the children? He always asks, how are the children? So sweetly, and tell them I love them, so sweetly. And then he beckoned me for an interview, which means, of course, we both were to go in. Me? Does that mean you love me, Baba? I was incredulous, because there's always the thought, am I just slipping in on Sam's coattails, you know? Does he really love me? I didn't have that. I didn't trust and know that he's really in my heart. He's really the one who comes and gives me those moments of joy. He's really the cement, the glue that holds our family together with so much love, because there is so much love in our family. You know, the girls love one another and they love him, and that's why they didn't want to get married. You don't want to leave that. But he called us in, and I was happy, and it was beautiful. And then we left the interview, and then the days passed. And then I started ruminating and thinking, I hate sitting on the ground. I'm so uncomfortable. I never can enjoy him. He's so beautiful, but yet I'm always in agony and torture. If only I could sit on a chair. And I just got an obsession. When you're in India with Baba, sometimes the obsession, you become a little crazed. Some of you know what that happens. Your monkey mind starts going to work, and you get strange thoughts and ideas. And this was one of mine. I have to be comfortable. I want to sit in a chair, but only the older, infirm ladies sit in the chairs, over on the side. I'm not really old, well, getting older, but I'm not infirm. So I tortured Sam every day. Should I, shouldn't I? Should I go sit in the chairs? No, I don't know. I was agonizing. Yes, no, yes, no. Finally, I'm sure he said, go do it. I don't know. But I just decided I'm going to go sit in a chair for once. I don't care if he doesn't love me, if I break the rules. And so I sat in a chair. The first time I'd ever sat in a chair during darshan. He walked out. You have to know the morning is so cool. It's the best part in Puja Party. It's so cool. The sun is coming up from the women's perspective. We see the sun rising, and he glides out, and he is so glorious. He is so radiant. This time, I was in ecstasy because I was so comfortable. And I just sat and absorbed him and drank him in, and he was so lovely. And that was when I felt my heart truly melting, completely melting. And I was just happy, and he was so beautiful. And he didn't even come to our area, but at least I saw him. I was comfortable. I watched the whole thing. And he went in, and then before I knew it, Sam was there beckoning. We were called in for an interview. And I was still floating. I was so happy. Oh, he loves me. I love him. It's great. He's beautiful. And he called us in, and he asked me, how are you? I'm so happy. And then he waved his hand, and out came the Stramala. Well, I'd always wanted something. He had given the kids little medals early on, the first trip, and Sam. I'd never gotten anything, but I knew I had everything. I have everything in life. I don't need it, didn't want for anything. He's given everything, life, joy, family, But I knew maybe inside it, somewhere I wanted it, but I didn't think about it when I was with him. But it was so beautiful. It was so, it gave me such joy, and we went in with him. And from that moment on, it was a change. It was a shift. But that was 13 years after he had come into my life. So it had taken all those years. So if I would say anything to anyone here, I would say, hold on to him for dear life. Don't let go of him. He is so magnificent. He's so beautiful. He can give us so much strength. If you have children, he gives you courage. He gives them courage. We've witnessed him with the students. He's so dear and loving with the children, with his students. Once he had 2 lions for the summer school, one on either side of 2 years ago, on side of the stage. And he said, these are not mere ornaments. They were big statues, proud lions. He said, this is who you are. You are lions. You're not sheep. You're courageous. You're noble. You're brave. You're Atma. You're infinite. And he's exhorting and encouraging the students so beautifully. He's done it with our children, and then we can do it with our children. We can really have the confidence to tell them who they are, and they don't have to be shaken by the world, because the world is very difficult for many people, and sometimes for all of us. So I guess I would conclude by saying it's his grace, really, that we can appreciate and love him. Sam's brother said the other day, I think some people just have an aptitude to have faith, and some people don't have it, because he's taken trips, he's had gifts, he still can't get off the fence like I got off the fence and went wholeheartedly. He's wasting time. But I think God is there. It's not an aptitude. We all have it, because that's who we are. We just have to take hold and say, I love you, and I know you love me, and he'll take care of everything. Thank you very much.
Well, now we know that there's something called happy jealousy. Thank you very much, Mrs. Sandweiss. Wonderful experiences. Yesterday, we heard Dr. Sandweiss, his experiences with Swami. And yesterday evening, we had a beautiful talk by Dr. Sandweiss at the Carleton University, complemented by some clips from latest Baba's film. Now our next speaker is Dr. Sandweiss. He will come and talk on unity in word, thought, and deed. Dr. Sandweiss.
Dearest Swami, who is omnipresent, always with us, and who is here and fills this room with light and love and makes us feel that we're a family and we feel so comfortable with each other and we're so protected. We're a Sai family that loves Swami, and we sit with each other and we can relax, and we're in his love. And that he comes at a time of darkness and he lets us release ourselves into this family, and this is home. This is our family. It's Swami's expression of love to us. It's so precious. I offer the talk to you, Swami, and pray that you speak through me and love through me and bring your presence here so that we can all be in joy and to be immersed in you, sweet Swami. And brothers and sisters, Faith, thank you for putting me at ease this morning. It's always a little nervous to speak, and Faith brought us into Swami's heart. It was so wonderful, Faith. And Sharon, thank you. Brought a tear to my eyes. You're so sweet. And it just struck me, although Sharon's been telling me this for 21 years, that her birthday is actually Swami's birthday. For the first time, it struck me, my God, what a sweet thing for Swami to do in our family, that actually her birthday is November 23rd. It's so wonderful to share that, to know that Swami's birthday is in our family. So I wanted to speak a little bit about the making of a film, and in some ways see if I could figure how to put unity and thought, word, and deed in there. But what I really wanted to do was tell you about the making of the film that you're going to see later on. You saw parts of it yesterday, because it was a real experience with Swami, the ups and downs and all of that, and I wanted to share a little of it with you. Swami says that when we love and serve all, that's the way to God. Love and serve all. And so if you try to put some service, you put action filled with Swami equals service. You fill yourself with this love of Swami, and you start putting it into service. And when you express this to other people, you try to see Swami in that person, you try to be nice to that person, you practice that there's a transformation that goes on. We don't know how it happens, but you chant his name, Om Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai. You try to be good and realize that he is good, and you want to offer this to him, and you want to smile and be nice to the other person and give something to them. You know, so one of these sayings of Swami is so powerful that I remember in my meditation. Bear everything. I don't know how many of us recognize that we have to bear a lot. That I get up in the morning and the first thing my kid says, I've got a sore throat. This teacher did this to me. Should I drop out of that? Should I go into this? And haven't even brushed my teeth yet. And then all day long I hear problems. That's my business. You have a problem? Come on in. And then the center has a problem. And my car has a problem. And I have a problem. Everybody has a problem. You know, that's the nature of the world. It's a problem. Duality is a problem, isn't it? It's a problem for us. Because we are all going to die in duality. And so even though we want everlasting life, we can sense that that's who we are, everlasting life. We know we want eternity. We believe in duality, so we always find an obstacle. That's just the way it is until we finally learn to try to transcend duality. Bear everything and do nothing. That's something to learn, to hold everything on your shoulders and to be there and to be as steady as you can and to be as loving as you can and to say hello sweetly and be with Swami and offer yourself in the world. Bear everything, and you don't have to do anything. He says he'll do everything. Just remember him and do the best you can, but you don't have to do anything. He'll do it. Bear everything and do nothing. Hear everything and say nothing. Now for psychiatrists, it's right up my alley. I like that, you know. I like to, and thank goodness, because I don't have much to say. People are so, people come to me in a lot of pain, and so I have to hear it, and I love to hear it. It's my duty to hear it. Duty with love is what? The duty with love is, duty with love, duty without love is deplorable. Duty with love is desirable. And love without duty is divine. So right now, I listen. It's my duty to listen, and I'm trying to learn to love to listen, so that's desirable. But when we really love each other without any duty, when we love each other, it's divine. And it's just because we are filled with Swami and we love each other. So hear everything and say nothing. Give everything and take nothing. Give everything and take nothing. Well, if we follow Swami, he's going to make us learn what that means. Bear everything, hear everything, give everything, and take nothing. How many of us are ready for that kind of a spiritual path? Give everything and take nothing. Don't accept, don't believe you're going to get any credit for anything, or people are going to be complimentary. No. Here we all love Swami, but in the outside, if we say Swami is God, oh, you'll get it, you know. I remember early on loving Swami so much, and Swami had just allowed me to write this book, Sai Baba, the Holy Man and the Psychiatrist. And so I was trying to tell people and say, look, I wrote a book. I was so proud. And I think I must have called a TV station. I think I must have instigated it. And they invited me to talk on their TV show about Swami, because I was teaching at the university, and it seemed to be strange that somebody that had a teaching position had such a strange idea. And so I came to the station. It was late at night, actually. It was on at about 11 o'clock. This is how Swami does these things, you know. And I'm so proud. And there were a bunch of workmen outside. They were finishing up something, and they said, oh, are you going into the TV show? I said, yes. And I said, I just wrote this book. They said, oh, what is it about? And I said, oh, it's about God on earth. They say, bah, humbug, terrible, horrible, get out of here. So that was my first. Then I went into the TV station. And the person that was going to go on in front of me was Miss America 1920. And she had a low-cut thing on like that, you know, and she was about 80 years old. And they were going to interview her. And the next person was a lawyer for Charles Manson. And I was squeezed in between these two people. So, you know, you have to step out in the world and not expect anything. But also don't hold your chin out to get punched all the time, you know. Give everything and take nothing. And serve everyone. And be nothing. You don't need any title. You don't need to be the president of the center. You don't need to be the bhajan leader. Just be good. And your influence will go into the center. You don't have to be recognized. You just serve. And learn to sort of let the ego go. It's not easy. But in our centers is a great place to learn such a thing. Oh, the egos, you know, roar up like this, and they come on from every side. They're coming in. And we are told by Swami, be brothers and sisters. Somebody comes in, and they want to practice their own kind of devotion. They want to fall on the floor and slide up to the mandir, up to the altar, you know. Or they want to start the bhajan by screaming and yelling. Or in the middle, they want to go, yay, yow, ho, wee, this is great. You know, in the middle of bhajan. And gently you have to come and say, please, you know, one of the principles is discipline. Please quash. Now listen, you do this, and he looks at you, he thinks you know what you're doing, and he starts doing it. Everybody's jumping around like a monkey, you know. So, at any rate, bear everything and do nothing. Hear everything and say nothing. Give everything and take nothing. Serve everyone and be nothing. Okay, so you want to put Swami's action into service and his love into some service. And so he gives us opportunity. How wonderful it is to have opportunity. And you can do it directly in Swami's name. You can practice his teachings, and you can do it directly. And when you do it and you offer to somebody, you look hard, you look for them, you look for Swami in them. Swami then will jump up and say, "Hi, I'm here." He'll start relating to you. I know that when I first came back from Swami 21 years ago, somebody said, "Why don't you start a center?" And I was not interested in doing that. Generally, you know, if somebody asks you to do something of service and you don't want to do it, you know that's the best thing to do in your life. And so we started a center, 21 years in our home. It means I can't get away. I have to go all the time to bhajans, even if I wanted not to go. Thank God, Swami, that you made it like that, really, for this monkey mind, that I can every week, like clockwork, go to the bhajan and sing and be part of the family. So then there was bringing Swami into the family, his values, and to teach the children, and to encourage the children along the right line. Then there was writing a book about Swami. Now that wasn't really service, that was just pure grace. And I brought the book to Swami. I said, "Swami, who should publish this book?" And Swami said, "You should." And I said to Swami, "I'm not a businessman." And Swami said, "I'm not a businessman either." And that was the end of that. So that was a little service, you see, because I didn't want to do it, but I had to learn to do that kind of thing. I had to learn what an accounts receivable was, and how to write an invoice, and how to pack the books, and how to carry them on my back, and how to struggle with the U.S. Postal Service, and how to get all these books back damaged, you know. I had to keep this struggle. That was service. And then service in terms of the local organization, the national organization, and then Swami let me do some projects, and that was, for me, it was not easy. That is, doing some talking. I was shy and stage fright, and Swami encouraged me, and I was invited. The first big conference was in Winnipeg. That was 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. I was asked to give about 3 or 4 talks. I knew I couldn't do it. I knew for sure I couldn't do it. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll try this and that and that. I'll try to do those kinds of talks. But I was scared, speechless, and I knew that Swami would have to do it, and it was an act of faith just to go, just to get my legs to go. And then I was asked to go to the Australian National Convention and conference, and Psy Conference, and I was going to have to speak 7 times, and I knew I couldn't do it. I absolutely knew. So I tried to get out, and I said to the person that asked, well, if Swami says it's all right, then, you know, and if you ask him, he says it's all right, then I'll go. Of course, I would never do anything like that without Swami's permission, to go all the way to Australia. And I thought, fat chance, you know, in my mind, fat chance I'll have a chance to talk to Swami, and that he'll say it's all right for me. But Swami said it was all right, and then I had to go. And believe you me, who knows how to speak about Swami, and how much to overcome to do that, but I just went, and that's part of it. He asks you to go to your limit and to jump off the cliff. If you're willing to do this seriously and try to be of service and give everything and take nothing and serve everyone and be nothing, and really you take it to heart, the opportunities will come and you say yes to it, and you surrender yourself. That's part of the idea. You surrender yourself, and he says he comes. Well, the reason I'm saying that is because through this service, I found myself on a project that had me directly seeing Swami in the world. You know, he says, look for me and you'll see. Well, here I'm on a project of doing a film on Swami, and all you're doing is looking at him. So finally, after some of the service, I'm on the grounds, and I'm getting my chance to look through the lens of a camera just about, and we're always looking at Swami. So we just were basking in this service project, just basking in a vision of Swami. About 6 years ago, I wanted to do a large film on Swami, and a number of us devotees got together and had a think tank. Very creative people. There was an award-winning documentarist who was there, and a world-class actor, and a couple of very devoted side devotees, and we figured out the budget and everything. It was going to cost $200,000 to get all professional things done and whatnot. So I brought the proposal to Swami, and he said it was a good proposal and was a good idea, but it cost too much. And that was the end of that. So could you believe in 5 years, I'm standing in Holland with a world-class documentarist of some 25 years. I'm standing in this huge building. To my left is this great stage, probably half a football stadium in space, and 3 or 4 stories high with hundreds of lights up, and there are control rooms all around the upper levels, and this huge expanse of stage. And to my right, at least a football field in length, a great warehouse where they're making the sets, and I'm with an award-winning person, and we're doing a documentary that cost more than I was thinking about, and it didn't cost me a penny. And I thought, how did this happen, Swami? I just had an interest to do such a thing, and all of a sudden, I'm standing in that kind of a setting. That's really a miracle. That's really a miracle. How is it that a little fellow like me has an interest to be involved in doing some kind of a documentary on you, Swami? Because, first of all, I like your smile. We could do a whole film just on your smile, Swami. His smile, the entire world is in his smile. There's nothing else to say and nothing else to do but to watch Swami and pray for his smile and pray for one look from Swami, and that's all. We all know that, that something transpires between us, and we understand that he is at the center, that the spiritual dimension is real, that he's the Lord of this dimension, and that he's every place, and he is taking care of us. That he is our life. So we could do a documentary, but I was also thinking, people, for some reason I've been a psychiatrist. I've been struggling with what brings people peace, what brings people meaning in their life, what brings people love in their life. I've never been able to see an answer that seems correct. Swami, you're telling us, and it's real. It doesn't just, it's just not like one of these million thoughts and concepts that so many people that know nothing talk about. Swami is meaningful, and it's very important for people to understand this, to understand their basic identity and the path to this happiness and to this peace. It's so important for us to understand this, to get together and to talk about it, to be, and he teaches us in so many ways. He teaches us through faith's meditation, and through Sharon telling her stories, and through me saying it, for all of us coming together, and from people cooking for us, and people making an altar. The love that's generated, the love is generated, and all of it comes into us, and he's teaching us something about the way to live. The way to live that gives real direction in life. And the power to overcome the obstacles, because they're coming all the time. Be ready, that's life. They're coming like a huge tidal wave, obstacle after obstacle. There's no way out except through Swami. No way out. Fulfillment of desire only breeds more desire. Oh, we initially, even psychiatry, the fulfillment and gratification of desire and impulses, the way to happiness. No. The fulfillment of desire breeds more desire. The denial of desire. The denial of desire leads to further, or unfulfilled desire. Unfulfilled desire leads to further birth until that desire is dealt with. The fulfillment of desire breeds more desire. The unfulfillment of desire leads to further birth. What's the way out? Offering desire to Swami and leaving all consequence to him is the only way out. This is very important to know. Unfulfilled self-abjugation and negation and overstraining at negating ourselves and unfulfilling desire leads to further birth. We have to deal with it in some way. We have to deal with it. And going after desire for the fulfillment of desire leads to further desire. The only way is to offer to Swami and leave the consequence to him. It's this very, very subtle direction in how to lead one's life. We should understand how to do this. It's very important. This leads to the freeing up of all karma, offering it to Him. Place your thoughts in me, be devoted to me, worship me and do homage unto me, and I'll save you from your karma. I'll save you. It's a very powerful, very, very powerful declaration from Swami. It's full of love. It's full of freedom. But we have to practice it. We have to do it. We have to think about it. We have to do it. So I thought, oh my goodness, to show something about Swami's greatness, because he gives us so much confidence just looking at him, to talk about the great insights of man's divinity, and to understand the path to this divinity, and to do it in some way, to express it in some way, very important for all of us, for the world. And so I wanted to do this documentary, and all of a sudden I'm involved in the documentary. Now, I thought that it was going to take me 3 minutes to tell you what it just took me about half an hour, I think. I'm getting long-winded. I'll tell you very quickly then some of the very quick experiences in doing the documentary. This man from Holland contacts me, and we talk about Swami. He comes over, and he's filled with love from the devotees. He comes, meets the devotees, and he feels this great love. I told you about that yesterday, I think. He thought it was strange what we do. Men and women sit differently, and he was defiant about that. Oh, this is a new, this is modern age. Why men and women sitting different? Everybody's defiant. They think they understand how to lead life and the way to get out of this crazy game. Everybody thinks they know. That's the strangest thing about the human being. We strut around like we know everything. I said this last time. This is what Swami says. Man thinks that he knows everything, and he knows nothing. And God knows everything, but it looks like he knows nothing. He looks sometimes like he knows nothing, doesn't he, Swami? One time somebody told me he was standing with Swami in the Purnachandra. That's the largest pillarless auditorium in the Far East, the Purnachandra. And they were just putting finishing brush strokes of paint on the ceiling. And Swami looked to this man. He was at that time the warden of Vrindavan. He said, what do you think? Of course, anybody with Swami, it's wonderful. But besides wanting to only say something positive to Swami, it was wonderful, and it is wonderful. So Swami said, the architects and the construction people brought it to me, and I made these changes, and they said it would never stand, but it's standing. He says, yes, Swami, it is standing. And do you like the colors? Yes. And then Swami looked at him with a twinkle, and he said, Swami knows everything. He only looks like he knows nothing. He can fool us that way. Looks like he knows nothing. Swami can fool us in some kind of very unusual way. I'll tell you a story which I wondered whether I should tell or not, because it's so mysterious of Swami. It's so mysterious of Swami. It is extraordinary. I lay out in front of Swami. In the making of this film, Philip and I went to India a number of times. In the last year and a half in doing this film, we went to India 4 times, and I was in Holland 3 times. And Philip became aware of Swami's greatness. Philip was allowed on the Mandir porch. Philip was able to see Swami. When Swami addresses you and smiles at you, you must smile, because your heart is in joy. You must smile. There's no stopping it. You're just filled. And Philip would look at me and says, why was I laughing and giggling like that when he came by and looked at me? Why do I have the impulse to take his hand and kiss his hand, and that I'm completely absorbed in him? Philip began to see this. Well, he must be an old soul for Swami to pick him out and have him do a film like this, Philip saw the innocence of all the students' faces looking at Swami. The young boys from the elementary school came, and the older students from the college came, and people coming, and the dignitaries and the great people, and just lying flat and on the ground kissing Swami's feet. And Swami, who never even looks like he believes this reality, he doesn't even look like ever, that he talks as if this reality has any meaning. He's always teaching us. He's always at some other place. He doesn't look like he's in this reality. And yet he's there playing with us, and we know he's someplace else. And sometimes then he just goes someplace else. But he'll come down and he'll talk with us, and we know he's not attending to it the way we attend to it. We look like we believe it. He doesn't believe it. Philip was seeing all of this. And he said, I'm trying to do a film on Swami. I'm an expert in my field, but I know my country will never believe this. I'm thinking of my next film. My next film must be that I must get the greatest minds of my country here. They must see Swami, and they know how to talk about it. You see, because any of us feels that we're totally inadequate to tell another person. That's at any level. I've seen the highest people in front of Swami being asked to talk in front of Swami, guests, heads of countries, who get up, recognize where they are. They've walked into this auditorium with Swami. The bhajans are going. These people are packed full. These people don't think Swami is a nice person. They think he is God. Not only do they think he's God, they've had experience that he's God. The bhajans are filled with emotion, filled with extraordinary intensity. These people are like this to Swami, and an ordinary worldly man comes into this setting, sitting next to Swami, with this blasted like that. And I've seen them get up and shake when they're asked to speak. They realize they're in foreign territory. And they generally make an excuse saying, please, I'm not a spiritual person, and I'll say a few humble words, but I don't know what I'm saying, and I don't know who I am. That people begin to be honest. You know, who am I? What do I know? I'm looking at something very unusual here. Philip wanted to bring these wise men from his country. And so he contacted the highest prominent psychologist. And they started to talk about it, and the psychologist was very interested. And for some reason, it was on Philip's mind. He wanted to do this, and he talked to me about it. I says, Philip, first of all, anybody may come to Prashanti Nilayam and never have one small speck of an experience that you're having. They could be way in the back row someplace, and Swami's let you come right up in front. You haven't been here very much. You don't know what that is. He's giving you great grace. You're right under his nose. You know more than 99% of the population. You've been right here next to him. How can anybody come, no matter how wise they are, and you believe they'll comprehend this? Swami may ignore them completely. He didn't quite understand. He says, no, anybody can see this. Look what's happening here. It's a world community. Look what's happening. I mean, you could talk about anything that's going on there, and it's startling. Look at the people that's coming. Look at the vitality. Look at the transformation. Look at the stories. Look at the buildings. Look at all the programs. It's startling. Look at the lovely sweetness and purity of Swami's teachings. Look at Swami. He thought it for sure, elect the three wise people from his country coming. And he had a religious person, a psychologist, and I think a politician or something like that. But he made contact with this psychologist. And Philip calls him. He called me, said, should he come for our second filming? We went for the summer school and we had some filming. And then we were going to come during the birthday for some filming. And so it was at the birthday time. He said, should he come at the birthday? I said, you know, it's going to be packed. It's going to be full. He may be frustrated. You know, that's a good bet that people may get frustrated at the time of the birthday, walking in all that crowd and everything, you know. And so Philip says, no, I must have him come. It's Philip's karma. You had to have this. So he called him and he said, Dr. V. I don't want to say his name. I don't want to say anything too negative. I don't, in fact, want to say anything negative. But Dr. V, do you want to come? And Dr. V said, yes. He said, it is the 100th anniversary of psychiatry in Holland. And I am about to get the highest award from my country at that time. And that time comes right at the time of this birthday, and I'd rather go with you. And Philip says, why is that? And this doctor says, because the other day I was in my study finishing a chapter in my book. And I felt a strange presence. And I looked up, and there was this man standing next to me in my home. I'm alone here in the home. Here's this man standing in an orange robe and this hair. And it startled me at first to see such a man in my home, but strangely I wasn't frightened. He seemed familiar, and I was friendly with him. I said, "You want to sit down?" He just appeared in my home. "You want to sit down?" And the man said, "No, I'll stand." And he said, his sweet smile, he said, "You're going to come to India soon to see me." And the man said, "When?" He said, "You'll hear soon." And then the same day or the next day, Philip called. He knew it was Sai Baba. He said he knew it was Sai Baba. Sai Baba then turned around and walked down the hallway and disappeared like that. When I asked this doctor, because I wanted to hear it from himself firsthand by his own voice, did Swami appear in the flesh? He didn't understand what the flesh meant. Did he appear as a body, that it wasn't imagination? Yes, you could touch him. He was there. He talked with me. He was real. It was real. It wasn't an imagination or vision. I know the difference. So, so I said, "My goodness, Philip, it sounds like you should be going, you know. What do I know? I thought he shouldn't be going, but it sounds like he should be going." So he went. This is Swami. You'll never understand Swami. This man came, and he was very tough, very strong, very intellectual man. In a weak moment, he told me, "I don't know anything," he says. "I just have a mind, and I read everybody, and I sort of assimilate, and I know the data, and I know the information, but I don't have real experience about life. I've just written a book on consciousness, and it's sort of like a grouping together of what other people have said about consciousness. I know how to integrate it and to put it out into a book form, but I don't have any experience. I want experience. That's why I'm going." So he went, and he lasted 3 days, and he was very upset. He became very angry, and he decided to leave very early. Swami was wonderful to us that during that trip. We had a wonderful interview with him, but this man had slept through it. And this is the drama, part of the drama around Swami. So he went back to his country, and this man that Philip was thinking was going to be the greatest proponent, the greatest source of support for the film and for the reality of all this, began to write very nasty things in the newspaper. That Swami was collecting ash from the letters from the devotees, he was taking it out and then giving it back like this. And other kinds of things, you know. But I'll tell you, it was very, very tough. It became so tough that Philip thought he was going to lose his job. This is how intense the struggle is and the mystery is with Swami. Tremendous. And then Philip was very caught up in it. It was very hard. His director was against the film, even though Philip had, see, this was a foundation, a film company that were not devotees, and Philip had to convince this huge group of people, and only because of his stature did he convince these people to do this film, and it cost so much, and so much good talent, and yet it was completely clean of devotees, so the film wasn't like having an underlying message of trying to convince you. There was a cleanness there. Also, this was unusual the way Swami picked. This was a film foundation that was sponsored by the 8 Christian churches in Holland. They sponsored this foundation, and the money was supported by the government. And they had no interest in any profit. As I got into it, I saw these very unusual. How did Swami find something like that, you know? How did Swami find that? So, anyways, this man began to write the most terrible things in the Holland newspaper, and Philip was on the verge of losing his job. We must understand that Swami may put us through some very tough karma. He may make us live through the karma. And it was happening right in front of my eyes, this story. This man was visited by Swami in his house in physical form, and this man is now saying that Swami is a fake. It doesn't make any sense. And to boot, Philip heard that Vibhuti was materializing daily in the wallet of this man. The world is very crazy. It's very, very treacherous. And when we have to go through our karma, we have to go through the karma. And thank God we have Swami with us and we can hold on to Swami. Thank God. I think that I'm done with my, and I didn't tell you one of the things that I prepared to tell you. I told you only something that I prepared not to tell you. That's why I want to tell you about the psychologist because it's too strange a story. I'm going to leave by telling you one other story that is too hard to believe also. I can't believe this story. I can believe everything else, just about everything, but for some reason this is one of the hardest things. I can believe Swami raised the dead. If we think about it, why would we believe such a thing? You know, do we just say it, like it's poetry or something, or we don't even think of it when we say, oh, Swami raises the dead, he's in 2 more places at once. Do we really understand what that is? For some reason, this story makes me really stop for a second and think, really? For some reason, Swami raises the dead, I say, oh, that's easy, that's fine, I believe that. But for this one, I can't believe it. And I'm telling you only because of the person that told me. The person that told this story is Dr. Hanuman Thapa. And you know he's the new Vice Chancellor of Swami's University. Prior to that, he was Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University. This one of the largest universities in the world. I understand 250,000 students, 40 satellite colleges. And we've had Dr. Hanuman Thapa. He came over to the U.S., was making some trip around to the centers, and he stayed with us one evening, and he gave a nice talk, and then he told the story, and I asked him. Every time I see him, I ask him. Or almost every time. Because I can't believe it. And I hope maybe there's a newcomer here. This is not a story to tell a newcomer. Dr. Hanuman Thapa was with Swami and some devotees. And it was on a moonlight night, and they were looking up at the moon and talking about the moon. Swami says, oh, the moon, he said. And he then moved his hand. And in his hand came the moon, and it came out of the sky. Swami plucked the moon out of the sky, miniaturized. And I said, Dr. Hanuman Thapa, did the moon leave the sky? He said, yes. The moon left the sky. And Swami warned us not to touch it, too much energy. And then he said something like, people look at the moon and they want to go to the moon and they think there's so much in the moon outside. He said, that's not correct. Everything is in your heart. Everything is within you. Everything is within you. The moon isn't that important. And then, boom, he threw it back into the sky. Who are we with here? Who are we with? In 1 minute, we are on our knees trembling. In the next minute, we may doubt him. In the next minute, we think he knows nothing. In the next minute, we're crying and weeping at his feet. What does it teach us? Our mind knows nothing. Don't even think about it. Our mind doesn't know anything. The only thing we should keep chanting his name and holding to him. Yes? It did happen. Yes? So not only does Hanuman Thapa say it happens, but somebody else say, I can't believe it still. No. Swami plucked the moon out of the sky. It's impossible to believe. I was with Swami once when he says, I've come to teach you that you are beyond your mind and your body. That's just a drop in the ocean of who you are, who you actually are. I'm every place at all times. I told you this yesterday. And then he says, how can your mind understand this? And he just materialized a ring. How can your mind understand that? And really, if we think about it, and for a hard-nosed scientist, this is a major challenge to a belief system. That through his will, he can have command of all the material universe and shows that it is nothing compared to what's in your heart. And the development of the purity of the impulse is what brings us eternity. And he is called Antaryami, the indweller. The only one that knows the actual workings of the subtlest nature and the subtlest motivations of our heart, because it's him himself who's in there doing this, prompting us. We must watch for him there and purify all of the ego and selfishness, because there he resides, and watch him there. I had actual experience of this in Swami. I should stop talking, but I'll tell you this one more. In this last trip, I had actual experience of Swami in the heart. I was about to go to sleep one night. We were at the summer school, and Swami would come and sit And we were just about this far from Swami frequently during some of the activities that were going up on stage, some of the speakers and whatnot, and Swami would come, and he's an extremely good listener, and he teaches us how to sit and listen. Have you ever noticed this, Swami? He comes to all the bhajans, or he comes to all the darshans. He comes to all the darshans. We may not come to all the darshans when we're there, but he comes to all the darshans. And when he comes and sits and people talk and and it's boring as can be. And people are giving whatever's in their heart, and people are snoring and falling off right and left. Swami is sitting there, and he shows us how to sit. Just that is a divine. He sits with such patience and such love, and he lets us watch him. No matter who's talking or what's happening, he may say enough is enough, after this third hour of nothing. He said enough is enough or something. Or he may, when the students are chanting, he may flick a finger like that, or the subtlest little to make them stop. Oh, he's so sweet. I was dropping off to sleep, and I recognized, although I was halfway in the trip, I was there for going to be 2.5 weeks, I was halfway there, I saw Swami in the chair, and I recognized I was going to be leaving in 2 weeks, and I began to weep. I just rose out of my bed weeping. I mean, so deep. Luckily for us, I think he puts a veil over us so that we can leave him. Recognizing how sad it would be to leave him, because I saw him so plainly, and how I didn't want to leave him. It was so painful. And then for the next day, I felt very, very sad. Extremely sad. And then came a time at the auditorium, and I was sitting about this distance from Swami, and my heart just was filled with this energy, and I looked at him, and when I looked at him and the energy started to mount, it seemed like it was attached to him. He started to turn his chair and gave me better vision of him, better darshan. Then my heart quieted down, and he went back and he just turned. He was in a kind of a swivel chair. This happened about 15 or 20 times. It was the most amazing thing. My heart started to yearn for him, and he turned and let me have a little closer darshan of him, and my heart just rang, and then it quieted down. As it quieted, he left. And then it started to yearn for him, and he turned. I thought my heart was connected right to his heart in some way. Amazing to see this, Swami. Swami, I said everything that I wasn't expecting to say, and nothing that I was expecting to say. And all centered in you, so it was all the same, Swami. We all love you. Please show us your presence in our heart, and let all of our behavior resonate and ring with your teachings and with your love. So we're wonderful instruments, and we're brought very close to you. Jai Sai Ram.
So